Hi, this is Yvonne Askenzie, and today we're doing some recording for the IT Security Guru, our very first CISO Carpool, not karaoke. And I am here with the most wonderful Quentyn Taylor, CISO Supremo from Canon.
Thank you, Yvonne. It's a pleasure to be here.
And you are a CISO Supremo, aren't you?
Yes, I won it recently at the Askenzie Awards, Cybersecurity Awards. So no, thank you for that, and it really means a lot to me, to everyone who voted for me.
Okay, now this is always a question that intrigues me. How do people end up in the cybersecurity industry, Quentyn?
I think there's a difference from when I got into the cybersecurity industry and when people get into now. When I got in, it wasn't really a profession. I was working for a .com at the time. I was working for Tango, and we had a cybersecurity incident, and I investigated. My boss, Simon Wardley, who's one of my heroes, actually got in and said, "Quentyn, just get in there, dig into it. Cybersecurity, it's going to be a big thing."
And do you recommend it to lots of other people?
I absolutely do. No 2 days are the same. You get to really walk away at the end of the day having felt like you've done something right.
It seems that when people get into cybersecurity, they get paid more than they would if they were doctors, for example, or lawyers. You know, the actual starting salary for people to get into cybersecurity can be something like 70 grand. Is that really the case?
I don't think it is. I think that there are some that start off potentially around there, but I think that it's the starting salaries, I suspect, are probably half that or slightly less than half of that. I think it's a much better profession to get into, but I would caution people from going directly into cybersecurity. I would say do some IT first, do some service desk, do some network, do something outside of IT, do some PR, do some learning management, and then take those skills into cybersecurity.
Now tell me, Quentyn, do you ever stay up at night and worry about what's actually happening back at Canon in the cybersecurity department?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't, but I have an amazing team who, if I'm not there, I know that this amazing team is also helping keep Canon safe. Now,
with 2020 coming up, what do you think are going to be the next big cybersecurity concerns and worries and threats?
So 2020 is a very important year because 2020 is the year of the Olympics, and Canon is sponsoring the Olympics. It's going to be pictorial, it'll be an amazing Olympics, but also if we look back at the last Olympics, the London Olympics, there were a lot of attacks that were targeted and surrounding the Olympics themselves. So I don't think that's going to change. I think that we've also got an awful lot of vulnerability that's out there. I think in the industry, maybe we're focusing our eyes on the bigger, more headline-grabbing threats and forgetting about the security fundamentals, the basics. Just last night, someone pointed out that with the recent RDP vulnerability that's been kind of dubbed Blue Keep, that now seems to be launching potentially into a bit more of a wormable issue, that there's 540,000 vulnerable machines connected to the internet at this moment in time.
So tell me something, everyone keeps going on about IoT. Is it really something we should take seriously?
Yeah, if you just look around this car, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 IoT devices that I can see and I know are in this car right now. If I look at my home network, there's something like 56 IoT devices on my home network. I only did it because last night I was doing some upgrades. So yeah, IoT security is a huge thing just because it's everywhere.
So do you think most houses have got something like 56, or do you think you're just some weirdo geeky person that's got so many dotted around the place?
I think I'm kind of on the extreme, but not that extreme. And so everyone has more than one telephone, people have tablets, the smoke alarms, the camera systems, the alarm system, the doorbell, some of the lights.
Even the baby monitors are apparently a bit of a problem.
Yeah, so baby monitors can be on IoT as well. And more the expensive ones, the cheaper ones are just using the more just a radio frequency. But yeah, they can also be a huge problem.
So are there products that you would recommend to people, I'm not talking about IoT now, just products in general that you think are absolutely fantastic, that you would say, God, you've got to have that?
I'd say from a software, give me one hardware and one software. I'd say from a hardware perspective, I would say something like my Proxmark. I love my Proxmark. It's a Swiss Army knife for RFID playing around with. I love it an awful lot. It's a security tool. I like my EOS R as well, full frame, mirrorless camera, absolutely great. That really, really, really rocks my boat. From a software perspective, I would say either Cylance, because it really is that next generation of antivirus and works really well. Or I would say a bit of a random choice, Maltego, which allows me to pull in all these different data sources and map them and see things from chaos. And I love that. When you get a big data source, you import it into Maltego and you go, now I see where the vulnerability is, now I see where the problem is.
So tell me, Quentyn, what sort of risks do you think there are rising in cybersecurity that people should really sit up and take note of?
Well, I'll tell you about some more risks that I don't think people need to take note of. So a lot of people like to focus in on things like AI, and AI is coming. They like to, but it's not here right now as a cybersecurity threat. They like to focus in on some of the more unusual threats, the nation-state attacks. And if you are vulnerable from a nation-state attack, you will know, but most people actually, thankfully, aren't. So I'd say if people need to focus in on a few things, it's learn to get those basics that I said right, but also learn to fail and learn that you are going to fail. For example, getting patching right in a 30-person network is relatively easy. You can walk to all machines. Getting patching right in a 3 or a 30,000 person network is very, very challenging, because even 1% of machines failing is several hundred machines not patched. So accept that you're not going to be able to get everything right, and then say, well, if I'm not getting everything right, what will I do to make sure that's not a problem if any kind of issue occurs down there?
Okay. Now tonight I'm thinking about going to see The Joker. Would you recommend it?
I would do. I saw it the other day. It's a very harsh film to watch. It's not a child's movie. And I think Mr. Phoenix has the Oscar in the bag, but it's a very hard film to watch. I'll point that out to you, but it's a very good film.
Thinking about your teams at work, you employ tens of thousands of people at Canon. How do you go about educating your teams, your staff, about cybersecurity awareness, especially as you've got people in so many different languages?
So I would say what we do is we make it fun. We make it small bite-sized bits of learning, we make it relevant. So at the moment, for example, we're kicking off our how to keep yourself safe while shopping online at Christmas. Mm-hmm. And you might say, well, why would I want to keep people safe at home online at Christmas? Well, because if they can do those practices that they do at home, they'll start to take that good practice and bring it to work as well.
Did you ever think you'd end up in cybersecurity?
No, I wanted to be a freshwater biologist, but there was no money in freshwater biology, so I went into IT and then tumbled into information security. So my degree is in biology, so I do enjoy the sciences.
People don't end up, people don't choose to do cybersecurity, do they? They just end up in cybersecurity. I don't know anybody in their 30s and 40s that ever said I was going to end up in cybersecurity. They seem to just fall into it.
I think that's the case. I think now you get people who say, I went to university, I took a cybersecurity relevant degree, and then I started off working in cybersecurity. Whereas you're absolutely right, if from a certain generation, there was no cybersecurity career. You just kind of fell into it and it was something you did as well.
Is there anybody that you'd like to kind of go, well done, you've done a brilliant job recently, that you'd like to kind of do a call out? Anyone in your teams or teams maybe in Germany or Holland that have done something really clever?
Well, my entire team, to be honest, I'm so proud to lead the information security team at Canon EMEA. There's such a diverse group of people who really, really want to get the job done and really, really want to actually make the world a better place. And it's so humbling when you talk to them and you pose a question and you get three or four answers back, and you go, actually, these people really understand what they're talking about, and that's really, really great.
How do you CISOs, do you communicate with each other and learn from each other? Do you ever get together with your peers?
Yes, we do. So recently there was the
IT Security Analyst
Forum. Yes, there was that meeting, and we had some meetings afterwards. We sort of grabbed a few of us, got our heads together, and asked them some tough questions. Typically, which product we would buy for issue A or issue B, and which products we wouldn't buy for issue A or issue B.
So you do actually talk to each other about the products that you think work and the products that don't?
Yes, well, of course you do. I mean, you have questions, and you just reach out to people on LinkedIn, Twitter DM, Signal, WhatsApp, and say, I have problem A. You had that. Did that product actually work? And they might say, well, it did, but it took us a long time to get working. And you know what? For you might want to pick something slightly different.
So do you use product reviews, or do you just use your peers as product reviews?
No, we use product reviews because, of course, if something's getting stellar reviews, but you just double check those product reviews by reaching out to your peers and saying, it's getting lots of good reviews. Is this true? Have you got a good successful deployment? Can I pop over to your office for a coffee and have a look at it, please?
Do you listen to what the analysts have got to say?
Absolutely. The analysts are really, really important to say where the industry's going and who's to watch. But when you want to get down to the actual nitty-gritty of actually how was the installation process? Did it work? Did it not work? Does it actually generate value? You've got to do that with your peers afterwards.
Okay. So Quentyn, I've got to say thank you so much for taking out this time of your beautiful Saturday afternoon and spending it with us.
I could think of nothing finer to do with my Saturday afternoon, as it is absolutely hammering down. It's the second or third weekend in a row. It's been raining all weekend.
But
So thank you, Yvonne. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.